This entire section has to be redrawn. It violates every regulation we discussed.
That is unacceptable. We are not compromising on the height of this tower.
New York City is often called the city that never sleeps, but it is also the city that never stops building. Every street is a timeline, every skyline a history book written in steel, stone, and glass. To understand New York, you have to understand its architecture, because the city's buildings tell the story of power, ambition, immigration, money, fear, and dreams. Long before skyscrapers pierced the clouds, New York was a small Dutch trading post called New Amsterdam. In the 1600s, settlers built simple wooden houses, barns, and warehouses along the southern tip of Manhattan. These structures were practical, designed for trade and survival, not beauty. When the British took control and renamed it New York, brick and stone replaced wood, and Georgian and Federal-style homes began to appear, inspired by European cities. Wealthy merchants built elegant townhouses, while working-class families lived in cramped tenements that would later become infamous. The 19th century transformed everything. Waves of immigrants arrived, and the city exploded in population. To house millions of people on a tiny island, New York built upward and inward. Tenement buildings rose, narrow and dark, packed with families who shared water, light, and air. Reformers later pushed for better housing laws, which led to courtyards, windows, and basic sanitation in apartment design. Architecture was no longer just about beauty. It became a battleground for health and social justice. Then came the age of the skyscraper. In the late 1800s, new technology changed the world. Steel frames, elevators, and electric lighting made it possible to build higher than ever before. The Flatiron Building, completed in 1902, shocked people with its triangular shape and height. It looked futuristic, almost impossible, and became a symbol of modern New York. Soon after, the city entered a race to the sky. The 1920s and 1930s are often called the golden age of New York architecture. Art Deco towers rose everywhere, celebrating speed, machines, and progress. The Chrysler Building dazzled with stainless steel and sunburst patterns, while the Empire State Building stood tall as a monument to human ambition during the Great Depression. These buildings were not just offices. They were statements that New York would always move forward, no matter how hard times became. But architecture in New York was not only about skyscrapers. The city also built grand public spaces and cultural landmarks. Central Park, designed by Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux, became an urban oasis, shaping how cities around the world thought about green space. Libraries, museums, bridges, and train stations were designed to inspire awe. Grand Central Terminal, with its celestial ceiling, turned commuting into a theatrical experience. After World War II, the city entered a new architectural era. Modernism took over, favoring clean lines, glass walls, and minimalist design. Architects like Ludwig Mies van der Rohe and Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, created sleek towers such as the Seagram Building and Lever House. These buildings rejected ornamentation and focused on function and efficiency, reflecting a corporate and globalized New York. However, not everyone loved this transformation. Many historic neighborhoods were demolished to make way for highways and high-rises, especially under urban planner Robert Moses. Communities fought back, leading to the preservation movement. Landmarks like Grand Central Terminal were saved from demolition, and historic districts like Greenwich Village and Soho were protected. Architecture became political, emotional, and deeply connected to identity. In recent decades, New York architecture has become even more experimental. Architects like Frank Gehry, Zaha Hadid, and Björk Ingels introduced bold sculptural buildings that look like art pieces. The High Line transformed an abandoned railway into a floating park, showing how old infrastructure could be reborn. Super tall luxury towers now rise along Billionaires Row, symbolizing extreme wealth and global investment. Today, New York's skyline is a layered story. You can see Dutch colonial roots, 19th century brick tenements, Art Deco masterpieces, modernist glass boxes, and futuristic skyscrapers all in one glance. The city's architecture is not just about buildings. It is about people, power, struggle, and dreams frozen in concrete and steel. And the most fascinating part is that New York is still unfinished. Every year, new towers rise, old structures are renovated, and forgotten spaces are reimagined. The history of architecture in New York is not a closed book. It is a living story, constantly rewritten by ambition, technology, and the endless desire to touch the sky. Next, we will explore the hidden architectural battles, iconic architects, and secret designs that quietly shaped modern New York forever. In the shadows of New York's famous skyline lies a quieter story of conflict, vision, and hidden influence. Behind every iconic building is a battle between architects, developers, politicians, and residents. One of the most powerful figures in this story was Robert Moses, a man who never trained as an architect yet reshaped New York more than almost anyone else. Through highways, bridges, and massive housing projects, he carved the city to fit automobiles and large-scale development, often destroying neighborhoods in the process. Communities fought back, and one of the most famous activists was Jane Jacobs. She argued that cities should be built for people, not cars, and that old neighborhoods had value beyond money. Her fight helped save historic areas like Greenwich Village and Soho, and her ideas influenced modern urban design worldwide. This struggle between top-down planning and grassroots preservation became a defining chapter in New York's architectural identity. New York also became a laboratory for architectural experimentation. Skyscraper zoning laws in 1916 forced buildings to step back as they rose, creating the iconic wedding cake silhouette seen in early towers. This law shaped the city's skyline for decades and influenced cities around the world. Later zoning changes allowed slender supertall towers, creating the pencil-thin skyscrapers that now dominate Midtown. Immigrant communities left their mark on architecture as well. Chinatown, Little Italy, Harlem, and countless other neighborhoods developed distinct building styles, storefronts, and street layouts. Brownstones in Brooklyn and Harlem became symbols of 19th century urban life, while Art Deco theaters and synagogues reflected the cultural diversity of the city. Architecture became a visible map of migration and identity. Financial power also shaped the city. Wall Street's neoclassical banks projected stability and authority, using columns and stone facades to mimic ancient temples. Corporate towers later used glass and steel to signal transparency and modernity. Real estate developers turned architecture into a symbol of luxury, branding, and global status, especially in Manhattan. Tragedy also influenced New York's architecture. The destruction of the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001, changed how architects thought about safety, symbolism, and public space. One World Trade Center was designed not just as an office tower, but as a memorial, a fortress, and a symbol of resilience. Security features became integrated into design, quietly altering the look and function of modern buildings. Technology continues to push New York upward and outward. New materials, smart systems, and sustainable design are shaping the future skyline. Green roofs, energy-efficient glass, and mixed-use megastructures reflect concerns about climate change and urban living. Projects like Hudson Yards represent entire neighborhoods built from scratch, showing how architecture can create new cities within cities. Yet, critics argue that modern architecture has also increased inequality. Luxury towers often stand half-empty, owned by global investors, while housing shortages affect millions. Public housing projects, once seen as modern solutions, sometimes became isolated and neglected. Architecture in New York is still a mirror of wealth, power, and social struggle. Despite these challenges, New York remains one of the most influential architectural cities in history. Students, architects, and planners from around the world study its buildings, streets, and planning experiments. From colonial houses to futuristic towers, New York is a living museum of architecture, constantly evolving and rewriting its own rules. The history of architecture in New York is not just about buildings. It is about dreams built in stone, conflicts etched in steel, and visions rising into the sky. Every tower tells a story, every street holds a memory, and every skyline change marks a new chapter in humanity's endless desire to build, to innovate, and to leave a mark on the world. Future architects continue to debate what New York should become. Some dream of vertical forests and floating neighborhoods, while others want to restore historic streetscapes. As sea levels rise and populations grow, the city faces new architectural challenges that previous generations never imagined. Yet the same spirit that drove Dutch traders, immigrant builders, and Art Deco dreamers still exists. New York keeps reinventing itself, proving that architecture is not frozen in time, but a living conversation between the past, the present, and the future. Every construction site is a reminder that history is still being written. The cranes, scaffolding, and rising towers are today's chapters in a story centuries in the making. And as long as people come to this city with ambition and imagination, New York's architectural history will never truly end. It remains a symbol of creativity, reaching endlessly toward the sky.